again. So we're jumping in for a little half hour before I've got the rest of my calls today. So if you've got questions, great. If you haven't, hang around. You can listen to other people's questions. Already got 3 or 4 that have come through on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, tapping on the screen, liking it, and all that jazz is actually really helpful. It sharing, tapping the screen, all of that stuff. It actually really boosts out the algorithm. So if you're here and you enjoy the content, that's the easiest way to show appreciation. Insta, you can do that. I don't think it makes a difference. LinkedIn, good morning. YouTube, good morning. Facebook, good morning. Great to have everyone here. So I wanted to do a little Q&A. Yesterday, I think we had about 40, maybe between 40 and 60 questions come in, which I think is great. The idea behind this, if you're jumping in, you haven't met me before, my name is David. I deal with sales. So we work with coaches, consultants, and experts to help them increase revenue. But we also work with businesses that are trying to grow a sales team or scale a sales team with everything they do. So we drop on. Social media is great for us. With TikTok yesterday, I think we had over 1,600 people that come through in 20 minutes, which is great. So thank you if you were here yesterday. And if you weren't, welcome today. Instagram, we get a handful of you come through here, and then LinkedIn and YouTube had quite a few people messaging me there as well. So in short, thanks. It's good. The more that we get positive content, positive support with stuff, the more that we actually want to do this type of thing. And if it adds value to your life, then that again is fantastic. We want to make sure we're helping you guys as much as we can. And it's not selfless, right? Genuinely, it's not selfless. We get a lot of clientele that come to us. There's people that have already come in. I've seen their names now, that are clients. And with a lot of these people that come in, a lot of people, before they work with someone like me, will spend days, weeks, even months watching the content, getting that value. And the reason I know that is because it happens all the time. Most of my clients don't always come from a comment section. They'll watch lurking in the background, which I like. Like now, there's 70 of you on TikTok, a handful of you on Insta. I can't even see who's on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. So it's great because if we're spending all this time dropping in, you get exposure to what we're doing. We can help you on. I'm not wearing it over my jacket. So Stuart Bizarre Barrett says, why should we watch it over? But I don't. It's underneath my strap. It's just literally on there. But yeah, so it's just literally poked through. But thanks, Stuart. Good to see you. And then literally someone put, how are you feeling now? I said, they like it. Well, that's cool. I mean, it wasn't really intentional. I think we're going to have these for finger holes. But the watch is poking through. We're quite happy. Let's leave it like it. Let's make it a thing. Should we start wearing them like that? I like it. Okay, so wacky questions in there. We're going to do some Q&As. 104 people on TikTok. Good morning. Great to see you. 16 of you have tapped the screen, and I really appreciate it. And let's jump into some questions. We'll also have a little chat about some other parts as well. So if you've got questions, so this could be you're a salesperson, you're getting in sales. This could be you're a solopreneur. So say you are social media marketing, or you're a coach, a consultant, you're expert, or you're in a business where you're doing all of the legwork at the minute. And I quite like this, actually. I think we're going to wear it like this more often. You're looking to get to the stage that you scale a team, or you've got a team, or you're in a team. All of those areas, if it's around sales, generating revenue, skills, ability, mindset, skill set, pop your questions in the chat. All right. And more than happy to answer them when we can. And then if you like what you hear and you want to know a bit more, you can slide into the DMs. You can have a chat, Morning Joe. And that's how a lot of people come to us. We're not here to try and pitch people to come and join our programs. But if you get to the stage where you want our help, there's a huge amount out there that you can manage to do. We've got it in a minute, I believe. If you go to the link in bio, if you want something free, we've got the playbook. My nose is always itching when I'm live. I don't know why. You can go to free letter K to 7letterk.com. And there's a free playbook there that you can grab. And this is a bit of an overview on some simple stuff that you can be doing to make more money. There's also on there, if you want it, a 1-hour masterclass, all completely free. Gets your mindset right, skill set right, and everything else. All right. So if you want any of that, jump in there. It's all but link in the bio type stuff, or bug and then have a chat. Tom, good to see you. Okay, going to jump into questions. Thanks, Rach. Will do. Right, I'm going to do Instagram. Got a couple of questions here from Joe. Then we're going to jump into TikTok questions. Then if anyone on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook wants to do anything, we can. I'm going to start at the bottom on these. Joe Lambro, thank you for the question. Have you got any tips for improving tonality just because more of people's personal overall sales? Okay, so tonality is really important. I have a boring voice. I have very monotone, and that can be beneficial in sales. But if we're going to think about tonality, the easiest way to look at it is this. When you sing a song, do you sing a song or do you just say the words? Now, tonality is you feeling the words. It's not tonality is feeling the words, right? So if we're going to say about a certain thing, if we're talking about an emotion, your tonality should replicate what you're doing. So if I'm thinking, you're going to likely see my body language change. You'll hear the tone of my voice change. It might be, but you can hear I'm thinking. You might hear some of my tonality change. If I'm telling a secret, then my voice is going to soften a little bit more. I'm going to be pulling you in a little bit more. If I shock you, my tonality is going to go up a lot louder. Now, I'm not a ninja on tonality, but these are some of the things that I've learned over the years. And tonality, if you want to improve it, is practice it, listen to it, hear what you're doing. Because a lot of the time, people just use the age-old adage of, I don't like my voice. Well, if you don't like your voice, how can you expect anyone else to? Yeah, I will go to the top in a minute, Nathan. So if you don't like your tonality at the minute, change it. Your voice isn't fixed. If I started walking around and doing an Australian accent for long enough, do you know what would happen? I'd probably start talking a bit more Australian. So our tonality and the way our voice sounds is all based on what we've done. So if we want to change it, just start changing it. I'm going to go through questions. Nathan George, 898 says, what is one thing that gets neglected in the sales process? Okay, loads. One area is follow-up, and two is setting the next step. So if you're in a conversation in a sales process and you set the next step, it's far easier. And what a lot of people actually don't do, they don't even follow up. And follow-up sounds like it's hard work. It's really not. Following up doesn't mean I phone you up and say, hello, John, just following up. But if you're following up, you know that they're not ready to buy. There's uncertainty in their life. There's things that's holding them back. There's concerns. There's doubts. Now, if you're at the stage now that, sorry, I just got a message from my daughter. I don't know why she's in school. If you're at the stage now where you're not following up, it's because you don't know what to do or you feel uncomfortable. But that's likely because you were pushing your product instead of trying to help that person. If I know that someone has got a real pain point, there's plenty of things I can do outside of what I do right now. So say, for example, Nathan is looking to increase his revenue. He's thinking about bringing in someone like me, but he doesn't know whether I'm a right fit or not. If I help Nathan get some results in his business, if I help Nathan with his mindset, if I share some podcasts, if I share some articles, and I show that I'm thinking of him and I'm trying to help him before he hands over a penny, he's far more inclined to see that I'm a safer option to work with. Sending people a podcast, great way of following up. Sending them an article, great way of following up. Sending them something that can help them, great way of following up. And it opens up a dialogue that you can use later. And for your sales process now, having a series of areas that you can walk towards and help people with will make a massive, massive difference. Okay. Hope that helps, Nathan. Reach out anytime. Right. We're going to jump over to TikTok. Hey, Hugo. Hope you're well. Right. I'm going to go to the top on TikTok because I think there's quite a few that have gone in. And I'm trying not to knock everything else over. Nice one, Nathan. Glad you liked it, buddy. Full Scottish Pete, good to see you again. LinkedIn, email versus LinkedIn messaging. What's more effective? I spoke a little bit about this yesterday. I think LinkedIn messaging is great, but not because it's LinkedIn. I think instead of just sending emails or just sending messages, use your voice more. Send more voice notes, because if you send someone a joke or you told someone a joke, the joke's going to be far better because of the tonality, pacing, emphasis, passion that comes out in the voice. And actually, you can engage and build a lot more curiosity through tonality. You can hear sincerity. And actually, I think instead of thinking, should we just do email or LinkedIn, think, how can we use our voice to be a better advantage to get us moving forward? That's what I reckon. By the way, 207 people liked this so far on TikTok, so I appreciate you. Aurora Home, do you believe in a unique marketing strategy to market your business? I think for anything out there, it's about becoming more known. You need to have attention. Here's a prime example. Everyone sees that I'm wearing orange, right? So I went to an event the other day and I wore a bright orange suit. So I wore this. Orange is part of our branding. So I brought a terrible suit and I put our website on the back and on the back. And we've even got it on the trousers. Now, if you walk into an event where there's a lot of business people and it's a sales event, and those people are there because they're looking for more sales, and everyone's wearing black and grey in autumn, that's a very easy way for less than, I think that's cost £100 in total. Oh, my nose is itching. To market my business. I also go live. We also do content. We also share viral content. So we do a huge amount of things. Plus, I've got people that do cold calling. Plus, I do some cold calling. Plus, we've got some paid ads that have just launched. So I don't think it's about having a unique marketing strategy. It's about grabbing people's attention. It's far better for someone to grab. I believe now, I would rather everyone in the world knew me and didn't like me than didn't know me at all. Because then it gives me a chance to, now you know me, to get you to like me. And you get to see me and you get to understand me. And it's been surprising on how many people, especially with TikTok, that have started very negatively in the comment section and over time have become a fan. That's because they got to know, they got exposed to me, they have a perspective of me, then that perspective changes over time. So think of it a moment, how do you become more known is the easiest marketing strategy for me, and then work from there. I hope that helps. Thank you. How I'm feeling now. Hugh, what's your thoughts on growing LinkedIn? Okay, I'll give you a prime example. LinkedIn is not massive for me. It's effective for me. It's like a CV. Right now, we're live on LinkedIn. We're live on TikTok, Insta, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn all at the same time. Now, I could have just got on TikTok. I could have just got on Insta. But for setting up an extra 2 minutes, instead now we're going to be marketing ourselves over 5 areas. And eventually that'll probably be 6 or 7. So it makes sense to be using it. Now, that's not because we're trying to actually grow on LinkedIn, but I want to be at the side where people are getting used to seeing me turning up. They're seeing our consistency. They're seeing the effort we have, which makes a big difference. Royal Rentals, good morning. What you're saying, me through, right, bestie. Right. Morning, Joe. Shahid, I've got a role play to get through a gatekeeper. It depends on your industry. Depends what you're trying to do. So with role plays, one of the things I have on my board there is pitch like you role play and role play like you pitch. Don't just go for a role play process for the sake of going for a role play process. We want to go through that in a way we're going to do it. Now, also think with your gatekeeper, are you making the gatekeeper your ally, or are you just bypassing the gatekeeper? So, for example, they might be they're not a person that's a decision maker, but they're a person of influence, or they're a person of interest. So a person of influence is someone within an organization that doesn't make the decisions, but the decision makers could take their advice. So think if I talk to John on reception and John's best mates with Steve, who's the MD, and he goes to put me through and he says, well, who is it? Oh, guys, it's some guy, blah, blah, blah. Sounds like an arsehole. Less likely to get put through. Person of influence. And I think it's very important to work out what is your intention on that role play and how can you move forward behind it. Hey, Nate. Hope it helps. Ali, any books that can help? I like Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Subi. I think that's good. And I spoke yesterday. Daniel Priestley's book, Key Person of Influence, is a really strong book. But actually, get yourself out there. And if you go to 3k to 7k.com, you can get a copy of the digital playbook for free as well. Right. Rube Shah, how do you handle your associates if they're going behind your backs? Give me more context about what you're doing. Life JJ, hey Dave, any tips to door-to-door salesmen selling broadband? Yeah, think about it like this. What's the problem that you're actually fixing, and what's the skepticism that people actually have? And if you can lean into the skepticism when the door opens, it becomes far easier rather than just going in and trying to sell broadband, because no one wants broadband, right? They need the broadband for the saving, the benefits, the improvement in their lives. Drift for you, good morning, good to see you. Kev says, hi, I would like to start my business, but I don't know where to start. What's your skills, Kev? So think of it like this. What can you do? Everyone on this right now, the people on TikTok, the people on Insta, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, every one of you has got some skill that someone else doesn't have in life. Doesn't say no one has that skill, but there's someone out there that has you have a skill that someone else needs. You have the ability, the process, the knowledge, the expertise. And actually, that's why consultancies can work so well. And that's why it's so right, because it's a low entry to market. And actually, if you can fix someone's problem based on your skills, they're going to pay you for that time save. That's really where I would start. That's one of the things we help people do. I just scrolled up too far. Doki says, hi, David. I was once in a discussion about, is it possible to become a millionaire with cold calls? Yes, anything is. Here's the thing with cold calls. No one in the whole world is planning to cold call for the rest of their life. Cold calling for us on social media is great because it shows our ability around skills, effort, determination, discipline, and lack of fear. So there's a benefit behind that. The people who do cold calling for me aren't going to be cold callers forever. They're going to progress forward. So that then gives you a solid next step, and it gives you some great foundations. Ryan Malbin says, what do you become a fan of? Don't know what that means. Or home. I rate it, although I'd call an orange. It is unique for sure. It took me a while to even find one. Massimo says, I'm an SDR and looking to improve a show up rate. Have any tips? Okay, depends what booking system you use. If you're using something like, I like Calendly, because with Calendly, what you can do is a couple of things. One, when you set it up, you can set up text reminders. And what we'll do is this. I'll record a video and it's like me saying, hey, it's Dave. Can't wait to talk to you in an hour. I'm on the call. We're just going to break down a bit more where you are. If we can't help, I'll introduce you to one of our third-party partners, blah, 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 blah. We add that into a YouTube video. We upload that onto the text alert. And then the text says, hey, you've got a call with me in an hour. Watch this video before the call. And it just helps realign them. Also, after they book a call with Calendly, what we'll do is divert it to a website. So someone books a call and then we divert to a site where it's going to show another video that gives a bit of a overview of what we do and how it works. And that means by the time they, one, remember that the call's coming, have had a text alert, email alert, and the video that they've watched, they're far more aligned to actually stick with it. Ryan says, what do I do? We help people make more money, basically. We develop skills, processes. We train people up. We work alongside. We daily accountability. We build out sequences, processes. Basically, imagine it like having a race team. You've got the vehicle and you've got the driver. We help make the vehicle more effective, the business, the processes, the frameworks, and we help the driver become more skilled to handle the processes of the business, meaning they are more effective as an overall team. Sales advice for a personal trainer. Yes. You've got to become believable. And you've got to be able to help people and take the baby steps that they need to get to the next stage, not just base it around what everyone else thinks that they need. For a prime example, I have people that try and train me that will automatically tell me to run. I hate running. I don't need to run. There's other options that are out there. I used to like boxing. I can't do that now because I've got arthritis in my wrist. So again, understanding who your people are is far easier. Pedro said, what's the name of the book? Sell Like Crazy, Sabri Subri, or Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. Both fantastic books. Once was 20, now he is old. Don't even know what that means. Fire infection, done that. King, do you contend Hamas? I don't like anyone dying. I think it's ridiculous, but I'm also not an expert in politics. But thanks. VP says, I never listen to cold callers. How do you expect them to get hooked? You don't listen to cold callers then. I'm not remotely concerned. This is the way I look at it. I have people say every time, oh, I hate cold calls. I don't take them. Don't take them, man. I'm not bothered. I'm not trying to convert everyone that's out there, right? That's not what we're trying to do. With a cold call, you're trying to find the people to hook them in that's interested. So, for example, what's his name? Benjamin Dehaney. He does one where he'll phone people up and say, hey, listen, this is a cold call. Do you want to give me 30 seconds and I'll tell you why I'm calling? And that can be enough to get the hook, to get the conversation. Other people will go down the road of talking about what they do. Other people have done a bit of research and they'll go on and say, hey, I wanted to give you a quick call. Just looked on your website and it looks like A, B, and C. Is that still true? Other people will go down a different route. So it's about what are you going to do based around the people you're talking to. So just because you don't like maybe the way I do it doesn't mean the fact it wouldn't work for you. So it makes a big difference. Toby Brennan, why should companies use you? Don't. I'm not concerned. And it doesn't mean to be harsh. This isn't a case of a lot of people spend a huge amount of time trying to convince everyone to work with them. I'm not. There's billions of people on the planet. And we'll typically have 20 one-on-one clients. We'll be going through one program, 15 and another. And then we have a huge amount of people on the academy. We're not trying to sell everyone on why you should use me. Here's the question I'd say to anyone else. Instead of why should a company use me, why should the company bring in outside help? That's more of a question. And then who should you bring in? Because some people will say, I will never bring in outside help. Don't. And that's the thing. It's not defensive. And Toby's just said it's quite defensive. It's not defensive at all. A lot of people always expect people in sales to try and convince people why to do it. It's not that in the slightest. It's not whether people should use us. It's about what should people actually do. For a lot of businesses that are out there, they say, well, why should we use you? I'm not sure you should. If you're not, for example, I'll give you a prime example. Ours isn't a done by us service, as in we don't do all the work. We don't make your calls. So if someone out there is going, I want to increase revenue, but I don't want to do any more work, I'm not the guy to talk to. What you then want is an agency to do the calls, or you build out a sales team and we can help you do that. But for most people out there, especially when they're in the early stages, they'll start talking to people and go, oh yeah, well, we're the best at this and we're the best at that and we can do this and we can do that. Doesn't matter. A lot of the time, I'm not a right fit. So it's not the fact of being defensive. It's just a fact. So I can't say why a company should use us. Now, does that mean we can't get results? No. Does it mean we're not a fit? No. But there's a few brackets around there of people which we won't work with. So, for example, someone that want a done by us service. They want me to jump on a phone call and do all their calls. And it's not going to be what we want. If someone wants someone to work with where they can talk to me every day, we about your structure, your process, your analogies, your pitch, your objection handling, then work with you and your team on a weekly basis to help you become the most effective person, then we're the right person. But if someone wants us to do all the calls, if they want us to give us some over BS that's going to help them, some magic one-liners, it's not going to work. I hope that helps anyway. Right. Let's go through. Where are we on here? Scrolled up. Here we go. What's your best advice for a 20-year-old BDR in tech sales looking to board more meetings? It really depends what your skill level is right now and what your current conversions are. For a lot of people in tech, they're trying to get real small amount of bookings, but they know that the amount of conversions that they have is really high. Or do you have a very low conversion once you're getting the bookings? I would focus in on what you're trying to do, whether you're trying to get more shit on the wall or just really be a sniper of what you do over a machine gun. Jack Whitaker, how do you work against anxiety of role play? The easiest way I can say it on this, Jack, it's reps. Anxiety can be crippling. I missed one of my friend's weddings because of anxiety years ago. And anxiety is horrible. I look at it like anxiety. It's a bit like having a pet tiger. When you've got no anxiety, a low anxiety, the fact you've had anxiety before, I think it's a bit like a superpower. You can feel overly energized. A bit like having a pet tiger, it would feel fucking cool. You feel like you're invincible. But if that tiger went to bite you in the ass, you can't control it because it's a tiger. And a lot of people can't control their anxiety. What they can do is suppress it over time and get used to managing it in a better way and making sure we're in a better scenario. Hans Davis put, he thinks he's well-hard. Don't know what that means. How do I get started? Kebs, it depends what you're looking to do. So this is the same with anything that's out there. There's two paths you can take. One is a free path. You can go out to YouTube. There's never been a better time to find amazing free content, and you patch it together and build out your own jigsaw. Option two is you hire someone to help you build out your strategy, build out your offer, build out your content, tell you what to say, when to say, and how to say it, and go from there. That's the easiest way. Kev says, can I join you? You can join the academy, bud. That's the easiest thing to go. You go to tuster.co.uk. Wemmer says, how do you handle jealousy in the workplace? My colleagues are 28 and I make as much as them. Don't worry about it. Like, there's always going to be people out there that are jealous. Like, I think everyone's trying to get in a perfect place with life. It's just part of life. It's not about having everything perfect. Like, it's not going to be. If you're striving to be anything good, there's going to be people out there that dislike you, but don't like the way you work. Some people don't like me. I'm fully aware of that. I'm very much, people like me or they don't. And the people that don't like me, that's completely fine. It's not my business whether someone likes me. I'm being me. And I'll be the best version of me for my kids and for the people around me. And I'll support the people around me and I support my clients and I do everything I can in the right way. But it doesn't mean that everyone's going to like me. Think of it like this. Imagine if you lived in the most negative village in the world and everyone hated you. But everyone else in the world outside of that village might love you. You can't judge your life or live your life based on the opinions of other people. Do you know my prime example is this? Anyone who knows Mr. Beast online? Mr. Beast helped, I think it was 1,000 people that were blind have eyesight. And then people were giving him crap saying, oh, you're abusing the blind. You're taking advantage of the blind. No one asked for blind people if they were bothered. And I honestly, if I was blind and couldn't afford the operation to get on my eyesight and someone turned up and said, hey, we're doing a video, we want to give 1,000 people their eyesight back and we're going to record it, I wouldn't be bothered. And so as soon as I realized that someone could go out and help 1,000 people have eyesight that were blind, people find fault in that. We can't expect everyone else out there to overcome it. I've got to go in a second because I've got calls. Ali says, how's your routine? Do you train in your continual basis or what footage? Okay, so we have the academy, but you guys can all see here. So we have the academy I use. I also do role play with other people, plus I've got mentoring as well. So we do that. Wemmer says, I like you, David. Thank you, David, for your insight. I'm happy to help. I'm always here. Right, guys, ladies, gents, however, the academy, it's £197 a month. But if you go to tuster.co.uk and you put in the code SALES, SALES, you get the first month for 147 and you can cancel at any point. So I think it's 700 trainings in there. And you get an app on your phone and all of that jazz. So you go to tuster.co.uk, get yourself in there, or you can go to the link in my bio. There's some free trainings in there as well. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Go and have a great day. Go and plant some seeds, make some calls, have those interactions, shake those hands, and really make a big difference. All right. Thanks for all tuning in, guys. We'll likely be back on tomorrow. All right. Insta, we're out. TikTok, see you later. And then... out.